wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Geekhouse finally has broadband whose speeds are in line with what this generation's technology can do. And you know what the funniest part is? That 74 down is being held back. Well, folks, it finally happened. The march of time and the march of technology finally caught up to Frontier in my neck of the woods. If you follow Stop the Cap, which is a blog that I've been a big fan of for years, recently it kind of sort of went public that Frontier is heading towards Chapter 11, and there was some kind of shareholder, investor, something or another, where some Frontier folks finally had to sheepishly admit they haven't been investing in a lot of the technology that they've gone on a shopping spree to buy the past several years. And my neck of the woods happens to be one of them. For the longest time, I was stuck with 14.1, or if I wanted to get the good stuff, 17.1, but never able to go past 1 up. While the local cable folks have been playing a little bit of catch-up and then some. So with the rise of the COVIDiots and whatnot going on right now, there are a lot of really nice deals to be had for new broadband customers who want to upgrade to cable. So I'm happy to announce that for less than the price I originally paid for Frontier before moving up to their highest available speed, I am actually able to go from 17.1, which was more like 15 or 16.1 most of the time, to 250.20 for 4 months. And if I don't stay at this tier, then I'll still have 50.6 after the fact. So, unfortunately, when it comes to price performance, Frontier has finally lost in my neck of the woods, and cable has basically won. You can get away with Frontier if you're never doing anything that requires upload bandwidth, like if you're streaming 1080p or something. But the minute you want to get into something like Twitch streaming, like I have, or other stuff like that, or even just video conferencing in something other than blah blah resolution, the cable's the way to go. Matter of fact, DOCSIS 4 has recently been announced. That's finally, after all these years, going to fix the synchronous nature of cable connections. So coax having a very synchronous broadband connection. It's something I never could have thought of many years ago. It's actually, I never would have thought of this back in the day. Sorry about that, folks. I lost my train of thought there for a second, but a couple of years ago, if you had asked me what I think the best internet in terms of the most useful in the United States was, I would have said Verizon Fios or some kind of fiber to the home. But the cable industry has been really fighting back with what they've been able to do with coax. So wait till DOCSIS 4 drops. For now, though, the company servicing my area is doing DOCSIS 3.1, so I decided to skip the modem rental fees and pick up this Motorola MB8600, which is, wow, it's really got some muscle to it. I was specifically trying to avoid the Intel Puma 6 issues with some of the DOCSIS. I think it's just DOCSIS 3 modems and whatnot. But I wanted to have something from Motorola because they've been a pretty tough brand, while Aris has kind of been fleeking a bit recently. I think Aris might have bought some of Moto's properties, but I wanted a nice big Motorola box, and I have one. Here's the problem, though. I have no way of telling whether I'm getting a decent amount of speed or not, because I'm being throttled by my own network equipment. Not this router specifically, but I still have computers that only do 10-100. And I also, including the turd Shiba, by the way, which I was using to test the connection, I was like, why am I not getting all my speed? Oh, it's only 10-100. Well, the turd Shiba has definitely lived up to its name yet again. Not only that, but also I have routers that only do 10-100, and I unfortunately, to not have a spaghetti cable going across the house, I have power line equipment that probably doesn't do more than 10-100. So I don't know what it can do. I'm gonna have to look up the specs, but the bottom line is, once upon a time, people said that your broadband would never be bottlenecked, would never be bottlenecked by your home network. Those days are here. So This thing's gigabit, but I gotta figure out what the lowest common denominator is with my network. First things first, though, no matter what it takes, we have to figure out, while the little Frontier box just sits here not doing anything, we gotta figure out a real way of seeing how much of that speed that I'm getting with this modem. Let's do some digging in the project area. I don't think I've even used this thing since I first moved here. Ladies and gentlemen, the spaghetti cable is coming out of retirement. There goes the spaghetti cable onto the floor and out the door. We're going to start with it hooked up to the main router, which does gigabit Ethernet, so to the modem. And then we'll just see, we'll hook it straight to the modem and see what happens if we bypass the entire network. Ladies and gentlemen, the spaghetti cable in action, and yet another reminder that I need to vacuum this place and sweep the floors. Whatever. Okay, we're bypassing 90% of the network and hooked up with a gigabit Ethernet link straight to the main router via the spaghetti cable. In 3, 2, 1. Vroom, vroom, vroom. We're getting it, baby! 255 down! 256.63 and oh man, 2169. We have a bottleneck somewhere. I know the routers, unfortunately, that I'm using are 10100, but I gotta check the specs on the power line link that makes the spaghetti cable unnecessary. The spaghetti cable makes sense again. Interesting, I couldn't even get any link lights with the spaghetti cable, but this one over here works. Maybe there have been some minor revisions to Cat 6 in the last couple of years that make this thing incompatible. Oh well, it goes to the router and it gets the speeds it's supposed to, and a little extra actually. We'll be happy with that. There they are, partners in crime. And what we have right now works, so let's keep it that way. No more messing around with plugging and unplugging stuff from the cable modem when necessary. It works, let's keep it that way. Okay, we've switched over to the Stream Deck. Let's do some testing here. S-Fan and Ginny are streaming some Doki Doki game I've never heard of, but what matters here is that it's 1080-60. We've got it capped out. So we're streaming 1080-60. Now let's see if this thing has the oomph to stream out 1080-60 while receiving 1080-60. OBS time, baby. People on Twitch are going to wonder what the heck I'm doing, just randomly. Starting stream. Okay, stream health is green. Stream health is green, only using about 6 up. So that thing I have earlier is actually... It's saying green though. So we've got 1080p 60 streaming at us and 1080p streaming, 1080p 60 streaming outward. Alright, now before the Twitch folks are wondering what the heck's going on, and before we cool it and see how fast this thing uploads, probably really fast, here's what triggered all of this, besides, of course, me wanting to get involved with Twitch streaming. Frontier prepares for bankruptcy, regrets failure to install enough fiber. Indeed. And so there's a restructuring plan, there's assets that are getting sold off, but Frontier is going to have to come up with some plans to become more of a fiber company if it wants to continue being a company at this point. As it stands, they are so well known for running old DSL technology into the ground that it's going to take a lot to shake that reputation. Locally, though, I've had really good experiences with Frontier, but a lot of that is because of what AT&T had when they left this area. So there just happened to be a pretty decently deployed UVerse circuit around here, but that UVerse circuit is now long in the tooth. So's anything that has DSL in the technology name. ADSL, VDSL, whatever, man. And here's where cable's going. DOCSIS 4 technology. Next generation of broadband over hybrid fiber coax networks, delivering symmetrical, multi-gigabit speeds while supporting high reliability high security and low latency. DOCSIS 4 supports up to 10 gigabit speeds downstream and up to 6 gigs upstream, easily allowing for multi-gigabit symmetric services over HFC networks, hybrid fiber cable. As future applications are developed that benefit from higher upstream speeds, such as interactive video conferencing, remote learning, and healthcare applications, Internet of Things, and virtual reality, the ability to offer symmetric speeds is significant. The ability to offer synchronous broadband is significant right now. The biggest reason why I upgraded was to upgrade my upload speed. I don't need all the download that I'm getting right now. Only the upload. Why is DOCSIS 4 important? Before today, maximum upstream capability of 1.5 gigs was possible. Now with DOCSIS 4 technology, we've been able to significantly increase upstream capacity, which will enable multi-gigabit symmetrical services for residential and business services. Today, a typical broadband customer's upstream data consumption is only 10% of their downstream consumption. Yeah, what markets did you get that statistic from? As new technologies and applications emerge that enable customers and their devices to share interactive high-resolution video, hint hint, our networks will be prepared to support the speed and latency requirements. What problems are we solving? Cable broadband networks consisting of both fiber optic and coaxial cable already crisscross multiple countries, and in the US reach over 90% of American households. Let's see here. DOCSIS 4 technology allows us to increase the efficiency of this existing infrastructure without the need to lay more cable. In addition to the significant cost savings, we are also future-proofing our cable networks and ensuring that our customers have access to cutting-edge services for years to come. It's a major step to making 10G a reality. Now, fiber still has unique advantages over coax, to the point where a company like Frontier is justified in trying to become a fiber company. And the same thing with their spin-offs. They're spinning off the Northwest, and it's becoming known as and what they're spinning off is going to be known as a fiber company. So, I mean, fiber is eventually going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I'm talking pure fiber to the home. But for now, in terms of hybrid technology, DOCSIS 4, man, this is going to be kick-ass. I'll say that for the 1080p stuff that I do, it's definitely more than enough for me to have cheap broadband that does everything I need it to do. Now, let's move on to some final thoughts on all of this. Now, just for fun, let's upload that latest clip raw about DOCSIS 4. Let's see what kind of progress bars we're looking at here. Oh, shoot, son! Cancel the upload! See, this is the boon of upgrading everything to make Twitch streaming easier. YouTubing comes along for the ride. That's over a 1 gig file that's uploading in just shy of a minute. Booyah! And I suppose, before we wrap things up here, another addition to my bizarre paperweight connection. To maximize connection speed, leave this modem on for 10 days after DSL installation is complete. Please note, you can use your DSL service during this time. It is not necessary to leave your computer on, only the modem. This is ADSL. The stuff I had before I even messed with Frontier's VDSL when I came to the Geekhouse. Nice paperweight. Probably still works too. Just don't have anything to use it with. Copper. Oh, and one last little tangent. So I saw this at Walmart and I was like, Febreze wood spray? What a stupid idea. Then I tried it and found out when you spray a bunch of this stuff, it makes the place smell like a cozy wooden cabin. Febreze wood spray? Oh man, one of those dumb little ideas that just seems to work. Okay, enough stalling. Let's wrap this thing up. So, here's what's next. I don't know if Frontier's even going to want this back, because I don't know if they even loan out equipment anymore. The last time I had a modem die, well, what they call a modem anyways, they were like, oh, modem died? Okay, we'll just sell you a new one for $75. And then it arrived, they overnighted it the next day. So that's the thing. I don't know if they even lend equipment anymore. I think they just sell you a new modem if the modem fries or whatever. So I may end up using this thing as a router. A rather lousy router, but still a router. So I was already looking into some more complicated networking stuff on my home network, even though I'm using, obviously, consumer equipment. So here's how we're going to proceed. We're going to work on getting all of the wired stuff to be gigabit, and the remaining 10100 stuff, the routers that I have, will become specifically and exclusively wireless access points. So it's an old idea. I used to work with somebody who was a network technician, and he used to talk about this idea of using older equipment to throttle less important sources of network traffic. So, I mean, the most critical in terms of speed is obviously the computers for things like streaming and stuff like that. So, we want to have the wired have all the beefy stuff, and then the older stuff will run all the wireless. So that way things like the smart lights, the Google speakers, the phones, the tablets, whatever, that stuff won't throttle the network. And if worse comes to worse, I could always turn on the radio in this device, and this will have, and use the wireless that way. One of the things I'm running into, though, with some of the cheaper routers I have, is even if they support wireless up to 300 megs per second, they have 10100 WAN ports. So if you don't operate those as repeaters or extenders or something where they're only using the wireless, there's really no point. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing for wireless coverage, is maybe, if it doesn't take up too much CPU, I am using DDWRT on this beast, and basically all my routers. There's a new Asus one I picked up that runs Asus WRT, which is based on Tomato, so again, the custom firmware is really making waves and stuff. But anything that can do wireless, see if I can get it to run as a repeater or something so it doesn't get throttled by the 10100, and then see what kind of wireless end network I can get up to around here and stuff like that. But ultimately, though, wireless is good for things like phone downloads and stuff, and the slower speed of the wireless will throttle the usage of the bandwidth, so that way a phone getting an update doesn't interfere with a Twitch stream. So really gets me thinking about all this stuff some of my network nerd friends used to talk about all the time over the years. So, till next time, this has been one geeky, networky, internet-y video here. I think we got some Twitch streaming to do after I spend about 45 seconds uploading this thing. Don't forget to check out Twitch for gaming live streams and whatever other stuff I want to do live streams of. I'm not really thinking of getting into IRL streaming or anything anytime soon, but for now, gaming content is primarily a Twitch thing for now. So, then we'll keep the tech stuff over on YouTube and have fun with uploads too. So let's get back to the fun here. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by.